I'm not going to get upset. While you stand with your children and watch your house being demolished. Okay. You get the realisation, I'm after making myself homeless and my children. Am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to afford this? What's going to happen if I can't? What's going to happen to me if I can't do this? What's going to happen to my children? You know, there's all of these little things that nobody thinks about. But we done a documentary that was aired the other night, and I hope to God it opened a lot of people's eyes to what people are going through now. I have been through it, and as I said on the radio this morning, my neighbours still have to go through it. I will stand with each and every one of them while their house is being demolished, and I will help them.
Seamus, we're here in Westport in a housing estate where of the 54 houses, 34 of them have been tested positive for pyrite and 7 so far have been demolished. One here that we're at today has been rebuilt recently at the home of Linda Claxton. We're at a meeting here today, and some of the politicians, we're here, some local Mayo County councillors as well as some TDs, Junior Housing Minister Alan Dillon and Sinn Féin's Rose Conway Walsh. Now, you put a couple of points to Junior Minister Alan Dillon. Will you just tell us a little bit about, as far as you're concerned, the problem here is CRH?
Well, the problem here is we have deleterious materials in thousands and thousands of homes, not just houses, but holiday homes, commercial buildings, you name it, farm buildings, and they're falling down. So, like, it has to be tackled. And one of the points I was making to the body politic here was that they are involved in a corrupt relationship with the supplier or with the company that controls the sector, the concrete blocks, quarry, cement sector in Ireland. And I asked them why the bill is being sent to taxpayers. It's been sent to taxpayers and not to the people, the perpetrators of the problem. If you buy a new car and the engine falls out of it, you bring it back to the garage. You don't go up to Dáil Éireann and say, lads, I need a new car. So that was the issue. And you see, the thing is that they tried to paint me as a sort of a disruptor, but I came down here to help the people because they must understand what actually is going on. No one has ever mentioned compensation. These people are all entitled to huge compensation for the duress and the stress and the mental health problems they've had for years and years and years. That's not even on the agenda. Whereas if they could take a case to court, these people, yes, they could sue for all those damages. But there's a problem then with going to court because under pressure from the EU, Ireland was ordered to bring in the class action or the representative actions. So they've come in now earlier this year, but they're not retrospective. So they're absolutely no good to anybody here. And even if people wanted to go to court, they can't because third-party funding for taking court cases is illegal in Ireland. It's legal in America, Australia, the UK, everywhere. But in Ireland, it's illegal. So you have all these barriers to justice. And this is what I was trying to raise with these people. These people were talking and talking and talking. I'm not saying they're all bad people or anything like that. There's very well-intentioned people there. But this is going to turn out worse than the National Children's Hospital. They have you have to now have it signed off by an engineer from the housing department, so an independent engineer is no good, or maybe he just awards you what you're entitled to rather than what the government are going to force you to take. So these are all the issues. So I want to know for the people, like these people should basically have an overdraft from the government while they're collecting from whoever they have to sue, be it the state, be it the perpetrators. And of course, I believe the perpetrators are the primary people, but they're the people that are being protected. So I travelled down to offer some help. Obviously, most of the politicians didn't appreciate what I had to say, but we'll have to go with it.
So with all that said, what would you advise all these people here? Now, we saw from that documentary on TG4 the other night, there could be up to 7,000 homes around the country with these sorts of issues, and maybe there'll be more to be discovered. Is a class action an option for these 7,000 households, or what else? What would you advise these people to do?
Well, class action isn't an option because the legislation is not retrospective, so they can't go back. Going to court by themselves individually is not an option because they simply can't afford it. Like there are such things as multi-party actions. I would have no faith in those at all. I think they're a grotesque form of justice, to be honest. I know there's one going up in Donegal at the moment, and we'll have to see what progress it makes. But I wouldn't have huge confidence in it. These are the people that need to be outed. It's the people in the Dáil. The Dáil is a circus, and the Dáil controls everything. So without, these politicians come down. I'm not saying Kieran Malooly. Kieran came down here and he's with Independence Ireland. He has to have a chance. He's just in. But, there's too much talking and there's no walking.
So we need to get a better calibre of public representatives.
Yeah, well, we basically need to get some power back for the people, because the people here are the victims. And the people had power. In the old days, back with the original constitution, they had Article 47 and Article 48, but Fine Gael removed those articles from the constitution. Fianna Fáil promised to put them back in the 1937 constitution, but didn't. So that took the power completely away from people. And then we have a Senate, which time and time again we're told it's going to be reformed, but it has never been reformed, and any of the reforms that they're talking about would be useless, because what we need to do with the Senate is we need to fill it with people of track record, people of capability, ability and academics, and we need to make it a party political free zone. So if you get the signatures with the Article 47 or 48, you can call a referendum, and the Senate would stand up to Dáil Éireann and scrutinise legislation like what they're not doing now, and the Senate would have power, to veto legislation, and also to refer legislation or propose legislation for a referenda for the people. So, God love all these people, God love all these victims, but from the bottom of my heart, these people are not going to solve it. These people are going to create another children's
These
hospital.
politicians you're talking about.
I'm talking about politicians, yeah, and I'm speaking about all the big parties, because I have huge and vast experience dealing with them over decades. So no, it's not going to happen, and we need independence, and we need to bring back in Article 47, Article 48, and we need to get the political parties out of the Senate.
Thanks, Seamus.